It's a strange mix of tropical and temperate. This island national park has only been inhabited for a couple hundred years. It's miles from the ordinary.
We're enjoying some ecotourism, some sun, and some little friends here in the Galapagos Islands of Ecuador.
The Galapagos Islands are located 500 miles off the coast of Ecuador and almost perfectly on the equator. They are comparable in size to the Hawaiian Islands, but are dwarfed in population. The islands receive a cool ocean current, and thus have a more temperate climate.
I did not know what to expect here in the Galapagos Islands. I knew there was going to be quite a few animals. I assumed it was going to be a pretty remote island destination, and also was aware of the ecotourism aspect. So let's go check it out.
There are so many options on these islands, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll be focusing in this video on San Cristobal and Santa Cruz. Let's start with Santa Cruz and the surrounding islands. Tortuga Bay is a 3-kilometer hike from Porto Arroyo. The hike takes you through a heavily forested coastal region, filled with birds, reptiles, and even cats. The payoff is nothing short of amazing. The beach is the largest in all of the Galapagos. It has fine white sand and an uber-shallow entrance. While it's good for surfing, swimming is not recommended. If you're willing to walk a little further, the lagoon is packed with all types of sea life. Across town is the Charles Darwin Science Station. For $10 you can take a guided tour and see tortoises of all shapes, sizes, and ages. The station is now the primary breeding area for all of the Galapagos turtles. Of course, it was made famous by Lonesome George, a last-of-his-kind tortoise that died in 2012 and is now on display as taxidermy. Of course, no trip is complete without a scuba dive or a snorkel. And there are plenty of ways to do this from Porto Arroyo. Perhaps one of your first stops will be the bay tour around Porto Arroyo. There are stops at Las Grietas, known as the Cracks in English, where you can snorkel a deep rip in the earth. In addition, there are hikes that take you close to shark and iguana breeding grounds. And if you're lucky, you might see some boobies. That's the blue-footed booby, a famous bird in the area. Now let's move over to San Cristobal Island, a smaller but more quaint sister island to Santa Cruz. Just a short 2-hour ferry can get you port to port. Playa Man is a small but popular beach. With so many sea lions, they just blend into the crowd. Continue on to the Interpretation Center, where you can really get to know the history and modern issues that face the Galapagos. Follow the path through the museum and out to multiple outlook points. The final stop on this mini hike is Playa Carroll, a wonderful surf and bathing beach. The final don't miss of San Cristobal Island is the Sleeping Lion, also known as Kicker Rock. Book a short cruise where you can sightsee, snorkel, and dive, right next to the steep cliffs.
Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. If you were traveling around South America, you're going to notice it's a little bit more expensive here. It is an island. They've got to import a lot of the goods, so it's going to match a little bit more with what you'd get in the average U.S. city, which ain't so bad for us. Also, they've been very strict. General entrance into the Galapagos is a bit of a pain, but that is because it's a national park and they want to keep it safe and clean. So even though it's a little bad, I think it's pretty good overall for the long run. Not really that important if you're trying to escape it all, but the Wi-Fi and some of the cellular is a little hit or miss, touch and go, however you want to look at it. So you're not going to have the greatest access here, but you know, you're on vacation, so here we are. Now the good parts, it's definitely a very warm destination. The water is very clean, it's beautiful. It's a very unique landscape, a little bit different than some of the islands maybe most of us have traveled to. The wildlife is not that shy. They'll come right up to you. You can't see it very well here, but there's just a bunch of creepy crawly crabs swimming around these rocks here. The most unique thing about the Galapagos is how pristine everything is. The Ecuadorian government has taken some major steps to keep it that way, and it really does show. It's not overcrowded. There's hardly any litter. There's just a great sense of pride here in the Galapagos for their islands and maintaining that kind of untouched aspect of it.